Hello, hello, all. Thank you for joining us again on the Almost Brothers podcast. Hey, will you do us a favor? If this podcast has meant something to you and encouraged you, will you consider becoming a monthly supporter? You could do $3, $5, $8, or $10 a month. What this does is this helps financially support the podcast so that we can continue to put out content and help better serve you. So if you would, down in the show notes, you can click the link, support, and become a monthly member. We love you. New episode coming your way. Holy cow, is this really happening? Are we back? We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us yet again on the Almost Brothers podcast. We are so excited to be back with you on this Christmas Eve episode. We are back, new season. Let's go. Yes, that is me on the guitar. I am just kidding. That is not me at all. New theme music, new intro music, just a new year, new us. So glad to be back with y'all. We are so excited, so pumped for what God has in store for this podcast going forward. Jeremiah is not with us today, but today we are here to introduce the newest Almost Brother. The newest Almost Brother. Yeah, that sounds good. Yes, the newest Almost Brother. We got Pastor Richard Randall. How's it going, bud?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Not too bad. Not too bad. And if any of y'all lives to us for any length of time, you know that this is Richard. He's been on the podcast before, but he is now an official member of the Almost Brothers podcast. Going to be here every week. I say every week. Sometimes we take weeks off, or sometimes we're out of town or whatever. Yeah. So we're excited to have you. So what we're going to do is just kind of break it down a little bit of who you are and how we met and just, kind of, you've had an impact on my life. I know probably vice versa.
Absolutely.
So we're just excited to have you on here, man.
I'm glad to be here. I'm very excited.
Yeah, break it down for us.
Well, I'm not always going to sound like this. I'm getting over strep throat right now, so sounding a little rough. I'm Richard Randall. I've only lived in Malden for about 4 years now or so.
Seems like an eternity.
Feels like a while. Yeah. I love it here though. It's quiet. Nobody messes with us. It's a nice place to raise a family, So, and I've got a big one.
Yeah. Oh Lord, have mercy, man. Yeah, you're almost like the Brady Bunch.
Well, I think we overtook them a few kids ago.
You'd have to have a lot smaller squares in your little opening video.
Yeah, after we adopt the 3 we're looking at now, I'm looking at an even dozen.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Football team plus a sub.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking.
Yeah,
we're going to dominate at the family reunion.
Yeah, I know. Right? Yeah, that's right. You're going to be the team at the family, like nobody else. That's it. Just, that's funny.
But it's good. Me and my wife, Jennifer, hey, babe, love you.
Avid listener.
She will be, absolutely. But we've been married 13 years, be 14 years in January. So very soon. She is awesome. She has been such an amazing person in my life that I always tell people that, because I have been married before, let's get that out of the way. And the secret to a good marriage is to marry a woman you don't deserve, and that's what I've done this time.
Marry up for sure.
Marry up, yeah. I traded up. That's what
funny,
I did.
Yeah.
Went to the Mercedes dealer and got that.
And got the good, yeah.
But yeah, she's awesome.
Or Tesla. And more.
Whatever.
Sorry.
The electric car guy, man. I just don't understand it. But yeah, she's very cool, and we do foster. We've done that for a couple years now, and it's been an adventure. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I think we're about to the end of that road. I think we're where God led us to be on that. So we're about done with that, and it's been awesome, man. It's been a ride.
Well, it's cool to watch y'all impact these kids' lives, Yeah. Not only kind of younger kids now that you got, but also some teenagers that you've had, kind of come in and out of your house.
Yeah, we still have contact with most of the kids that we've had come through. We had one at Thanksgiving just come by and dropped in, said hi.
I forgot Dylan.
Dylan, he's living in Sykeston, working in construction, making a life for himself. So, I mean, the impact's been there. So hopefully that continues on in their lives.
That's so awesome. Yeah, and we recently, planted a church. I know we kind of talked on here, I believe, before about, that's where we were headed. So Richard here is one of our staff pastors there at our church. So we joke around, we call him the food pastor, but he does a little bit of everything. You wear
Not
a lot
an
of
official title.
Right, not an actual thing. But I know you do a lot, man. You wear a lot of hats, and we're just so grateful and thankful for you and your family and just kind of the already the fingerprint that you've had on the church and on all of our lives is just amazing, and it can't go unsaid. So,
well, I thank you.
It's just awesome, man. Yeah,
appreciate it.
It's just awesome to have you around.
I don't like it when you do that, but
it's your favorite thing.
I know.
Yeah,
but I do. I do enjoy serving. I think that's what every Christian is called to do.
Yeah,
love others as we are to love ourselves, right? And you can't do that without serving people.
Right.
You can't do it. I think that's something that's really missing from today's church is service.
Yeah.
So, and we've talked about that a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's the foundation, man. Mm-hmm. It should be anyway, for some places it's not, but it should be. That's where it starts. So, and I know today's subject, what we're going to talk about, I know you struggle with it. I know I struggle with it. And I think a lot of people struggle with it in and out of the church, in and out of ministry, just all around and all together, is kind of this idea of being out of place and feeling out like you're in a space that you don't belong, that you're not worthy to be there. I know that I feel that way, especially lately stepping into the lead pastor role as opposed to what I've known, my whole ministry life, which is youth pastoring. It's kind of stepping into that role to where you almost feel like, man, I'm an imposter. It's that impostor syndrome. That idea of, man, do I really belong here? Am I really capable of being in this group of people?
Right.
I know I told y'all I had the opportunity to lead a prayer at the city hall, and I'm just sitting there ahead of time, and it's just like, man, like I feel so out of place in here, because we know who we are. We know all the things that we struggle with and that we deal with. It's like, man, these are like the big people in town. Like, who am I to even be in this room? And it's just so amazing that we feel that way, but it's almost like God nudging you on the shoulder, just like, yeah, but I'm the one that got you here. Like, that's the people that he wants to use, those that feel like, oh man, I'm not even worthy to be here. He's like, yeah, I made you worthy. I'm the one that got you there. So it's cool being in that room and kind of like, man, this is weird. And it's like, I just started crying. It's like, God, like I couldn't have made it into this room without you. So what are some of the things I know you've talked about it, like even on the prison worship team or just kind of in many aspects of our lives, like what is one thing that you do that you find yourself doing when you feel that just kind of like, oh man, do I even belong here?
Yeah. And it happens, like you said, in and out of ministry, just life in general, it happens, but especially in ministry when you're doing God's work, because you feel like it's that important, because it is.
Yeah.
And when that weight is added to whatever you're doing, it becomes something that you want to do well.
Yeah.
And if you feel a certain incapability in that adds to that.
Yeah.
So even when I first became ordained, which has only been a couple years ago, it was like so humbling to even consider where I came from to where I had gotten at that point, because, I've keep listening. You'll hear about my life. I promise you, I am one of the most transparent people you will ever meet, to the point that you'll want to tell me to shut up. But I've been through some stuff, and for me to go, because I didn't come to Christ till I was 38 years old.
Right.
So to come from that to a pastor and now helping to plant a church, it's an incredible thing that only happened through God. That's it. I mean, but God.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
So once you say it couldn't have happened without God, then nothing happens without God.
Right.
So you can rely on him to continue to be faithful because you know he has been and will be.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, I think that's why he uses people of that mindset, the people that don't deserve to be there and don't have the capability to do what they're doing. But it's like, isn't it amazing? It's like, yeah, that's so that God can get the glory, so that people can look at that and go, there's no way they should be here. Right. There's no way they should be leading. There's no way they should be doing this. Like, how are they able to do this? Like, it's God. Like, it's just God. That's why I tell people when I get up and preach, it's like, I'm not that good of a speaker, but God has just opened me up and been able to use me in this amazing way because it's him and not me. I get up there and I can't put a message together. I don't have the words to say. I'm not that, creative. Right. I mean, I think I'm creative, but I'm not that creative. But it's like, as I get up there and things get put together and this message gets put together and everybody's like, oh man, that was so good. It's like, yeah, that's not me. I'm not that good. Again, you know me behind the scenes. If you know me personally, it's like, he's kind of awkward most of the time.
Kind of.
Yeah, right. You're hilarious. It's so funny. But yeah, so it's like God uses those people that way he can get the glory out of it. Right. So I feel like we're all imposters. Like none of us deserve to be where we're at, but it's amazing to watch God do. I mean, I feel that way even just dropping my kids off at school. Right. And all these other kids are getting out and they've got like the brown, like the big lunch box and all this stuff. And I'm like, we just got out of bed 10 minutes ago. Like I'm just happy.
Alive.
Right. I get up before 7:00 and it's just like, let the clouds open up and let everybody cheer because like, look, okay, I'm doing what I can, but you got like super mom Susan over here, like that's got her kid just ready. I'm like, I'm an imposter. Like I am a horrible parent.
And we do that when we watch Facebook with people's vacations, with people's jobs, with people living their best life online, boy. Yeah. That's what we want. We want that best life. We don't see the everyday things that they struggle with. And that's because people don't share their struggles. They just want to talk about the good stuff. Yeah. The struggles are important. Yeah. It's what happens in between the great stuff. Yeah. That's where God is really present.
Yeah. And He is. And I think that's where people relate to you more. We look up to those that have it together, but we relate to those that struggle with the same things that we struggle with, or that's been through the things that we struggle with. That's who we relate to. So that's how God will work. He'll work in our mess ups and our slip ups and be able to speak to people and go, oh, okay. Because I think that anybody that steps into a church feels like an imposter. Like, oh, how many times have we heard people, I can't go in there. Right. It'll burn down and the roof will cave in.
I've said it.
Right. Because we all feel like imposters. I don't deserve to be there. Who am I to, So I think that when we share that, when we let people understand, like, I feel that way, you feel that way, we all feel that way. It's like they relate to that and they go, oh, okay. So this is a normal thing for me to feel that just like I don't belong here. But then all of a sudden you relate to somebody, you go, okay, I do belong here because they belong here. Right. So they accept me here. And
that's what's great about the Bible. What you was talking about, God using people. The Bible is chock full of just broken people that God used to do amazing things. Yeah. And the only way that showed God's glory is how broken they were. Yeah. That's what it was. Moses, David, whoever you're talking about. Yeah. It was a broken person that failed over and over again. And God said, okay, I got you. Yeah. Just get back up and we'll get this done. Yeah. And it was done because it was God's will that it be done.
Right. Yeah. And he used those people, man, and in a mighty way. And people were able to look at him and go, this person's broken and God's still using them. Like maybe he could use me. Right. And I think that many churches and many people just in all aspects of life forgot that. Mm-hmm. They forget that, oh man, I've messed up too before. Right. We look at, maybe somebody who's down on their luck and don't have a job, or maybe somebody that has messed up. Well, I can't believe they done that. Forgetting that, man, we were there. Yeah. I've been there before. I've been that person before, and we forget that. And now we're on our high horse and we think we've got it all together. So we'll judge them instead of saying it's okay. Like, I've been there.
And I went through that as a baby Christian. Yeah. It's a term I learned.
Yeah. Yeah.
in my walk here. But, when I first got saved, I was like, oh, I'm saved. I've got this figured out. Yeah. I got this. So, people would be I struggle with whatever, and I'd be like, well, let me tell you how to fix that.
Right. I've got it all together. I've got a month under my belt.
I've got the answers for you.
Yep.
I didn't.
No, not so much.
But that's just what we've got to use, what God has given us.
Yep.
And that's, now that I've been through, several different churches that I've been to and, some church hurt, that sort of thing. God uses all that stuff for a reason, for a purpose. He puts you where you need to be. And I believe he has done that. He has connected us at Remnant. He has connected us through this ministry, through this podcast, through everything that we do in our lives to serve him.
Yeah.
To make sure that his will be done.
Yeah. And I think especially for me, and I think for a lot of people, that the easiest way to help that with that imposter syndrome and that type of thinking, because it can be crippling to where you don't step into the calling that God has on your life because you don't feel worthy. You don't feel like you can. And that may be true, but with God, of course we know that we can do it. But I think the biggest thing that we have to do is manage our expectations and understand that I've got to walk with him to get this done, that this is beyond who I am. If it's not beyond who you are, then it's something that can just be done in your own strength.
Right.
God's never going to call you to do something that you can do in your own strength. He's going to call you to step out in faith and to do something that just seems so unreachable. That way he can get the glory.
Right.
So I think managing your expectations and understanding, yes, I'm not worthy to be here. Yes, I'm an imposter in this moment. But with God with me, man, every door that he wants to open, he can open.
Right.
Everything that he wants to accomplish, he can accomplish. So all we have to do is walk in that humility of knowing that I am an imposter. I am not capable of being where I'm at. But with God, he's going to be beside me, and I'm going to get in places I should never be in because he's that good. So I think just manage your expectations and understanding. Walk humble, but walk with your head held high.
Right.
And
it's possible to misunderstand a calling as well. Whether it's you misunderstand the calling itself or misunderstand the scale of the calling.
Yeah.
Because it's God's will. And if we misunderstand God's will, that we're still trying to walk in God's, God's purpose. So we need to be willing to take God's direction when it comes in whatever form that may be.
Yeah.
And say, look, that was my bad.
Yeah.
We're going to take a different direction.
Right.
So, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
And that's, again, that's a humble thing.
Yeah.
To where a lot of preachers get to a point to where they think, I built all this.
Right.
This is all me.
Right.
And none of it's you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once you forget that, you just need to get on your knees.
Yeah. Because you can't have that direction without correction.
Right.
You just can't. It's never going to happen. You're never going to make every right. Yeah. Put that in the notes. Because you're not. You're never going to just make every decision perfectly all the time. Nobody does.
Right.
Anybody that says, "Oh my goodness, I know exactly what God wants at all times," you're a liar.
Right.
You are a liar. No, you don't. So you've got to be able to do that. To be humble enough to go, that was my bad. Yep. We went this way when we should have went that way. That was on me. Because that's correcting yourself. That's walking humbly, going, "Oh, okay, crap, I messed up there."
Right.
Because we all get these moments where we think that we hear God's voice, and we go the wrong way.
Right.
And how you react to that is how everything else is going to go. Because you're never going to get that full direction of where God wants you to be if you can't be corrected. Mm-hmm. If God can't smack you on the back of the head and go, "Hey, this is the way we should have went. That was you." And especially if you're leading people, that's what people want to hear. That's the leader that people want to be with, not one that has it all together. They want to be with one that when they mess up, they go, "That was me. That's my bad.
Right.
Let's go this way. Cool. I'll follow that person. Let's go."
Yep.
All day. Who I can't follow is the one that it's everybody else's fault. It's your fault. It's their fault. It's his fault. It's her fault. It's not mine. Anybody but mine.
Right.
That is a leader that nobody wants to follow.
Right.
And usually it's that type of leader that is the one that nobody does follow, that's trying to do everything in their own strength, that thinks highly of themselves, that they're the ones that gets in the room and looks at everybody else and go, I can't believe y'all are here with me. Right. They're the ones not walking humbly. Right. They're the ones that don't get that feeling of, man, God, I couldn't be here without you. No, they think that they got there, right. And they're usually the ones working themselves to death because trying to do it in their own strength.
Right.
So I think just that walking humbly, but walking with authority. That's a hard line to,
Well, now, you mentioned the praise and worship team earlier.
Yeah.
I do sing on the praise and worship team, but I'm constantly down on myself. I'm constantly saying, God, this is terrible. Why am I here? What am I doing? This is not representing God well. This is not good. This is not. That's in my head. It's the enemy telling me not to serve God with what. And I know I sound horrible right now, but when I sing, I think it's decent.
Yeah.
It's not horrible.
Yeah.
And I just have to physically tell myself that you're serving.
Yeah.
This is how you serve. Continue, move forward.
Yeah.
Just keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where it starts. The head is the devil's playground, man. That's where he gets into our head and he makes us think less of ourselves to where we just don't want to do it.
Right.
That imposter syndrome overcomes us and we go, all right, look, and we start stepping back from where God has us planted at, and we go, well, I don't feel like I'm able to do it. And again, that's that hard road to walk. That's a hard line to walk, is walking humbly, but walking in authority. Right. It's very hard to walk both. Usually you've got those that are just, I just couldn't do it without the Lord. And that are overly humble, the ones that, just give it up to God and give it to Daddy God. And they'll never take that authority of, this is who God has called me to be. Mm-hmm. It's always, I can't do that. No, not me. I'm not capable of doing that. And it's like, you've got to be able to do both, to step and walk in the calling that he has for you while also walking humbly.
Right. And it's hard.
It's tough.
It is hard because you got people that will immediately call you out if they consider you to be prideful.
Yeah.
But they'll immediately call you out if they consider you to be too humble.
Right.
Or not serving.
Yeah.
So churches are hard.
Yeah.
And there's a lot.
And they're hard on each other, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Jesus never said this would be an easy walk.
Right.
So it's worth it.
Yeah.
Is all that matters. It's worth it.
Yeah. Because there is a point to where you walk so humbly that you're scared to death of anybody who disagrees with you. So somebody comes at you with something that is clearly written in the word. And then now, I don't want to argue with, who am I to tell them otherwise? And you cower down to people. So you've got to be able to stand up and say, no, like this is, Christ walked humbly. He washed feet, but he also flipped tables.
Right.
You've got to be able to do both. Right. He's the lion and the lamb.
Right.
You got to be able to do both. We want to walk like he walked, so not Ewoks, not Star Wars, not sponsored. Whole nother thing. That's another episode. But yeah, to be able to do both. And I think that's one of the answers, because of course we don't have the answer. It would be so easy.
It would be if we just had that.
But I think that's one of the answers, just to be able to walk that line of both, which is just something that's so tough to do, especially in our day to day.
And that's the thing, is just our daily walk.
Yeah.
We can sit here right now talking about what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow we'll wake up and be like, I should have said this on the podcast. I should have said this.
Monday
this.
During service, I will get up there, or, right before I walk on stage, I will have that feeling of, I'm not worthy to be here. Like, why am I even here? Right. God, I know who I am. I know the stuff I struggle with. Like, I don't deserve to be here. Right. And it could get in your head, man, and it can completely derail what God wants to do in that moment.
Right.
So same with you, getting up there to sing, especially when we start getting all of our people together on the team, and then, you're kind of the first one that goes, oh. Yeah,
because it's like, I'm the new guy.
It's intimidating.
Most of the people on our praise and worship team have been doing it forever.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not good enough, quote unquote, to be up there with them. It's not the case, you know, because it sounds amazing when we all sing together. So I know that in my head, but I just have to remember that.
Yep. And it's every day.
Yep.
Every day. So anybody out there that maybe struggles with this, and I think we all do in some aspect of our lives, whether it be your job, whether it be your kids, I mean, it could be whatever. Even in your marriage, there's many times where I wake up, I'm like, I'm just not a good enough husband as where I should be after almost 17 years. Like I should be so much better. I should be doing so much more. So I feel like, oh my goodness, man, like what am I doing? But just knowing that, yeah, of course, there's every aspect of our life where we can improve, where we could do better. But just know, just do your best. You know, when your head hits the pillow at night, just know, God, you had me. You got me through this day. Right. I struggled. I failed in a lot of different directions and a lot of different areas. But you know what? Let's improve tomorrow. And just improve every day. Just try to get better in all those aspects of our life. And I think that's what this Christian walk really is. It's just one step at a time, one slip up at a time, one time getting up. You know, righteous man falls 7 times he gets up. It's just getting up, getting up, getting up. So just knowing that and knowing that none of us are where we should be.
Amen.
Come on, somebody.
Well said.
Well, what else you got, man? How you want to end it? He said, that's good. That's good. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, we are excited to have you on, man.
I'm super excited about where God's going to take this. I mean, it's going to be an amazing, amazing thing.
Yeah, and we've got some great guests lined up. We've got a bunch of good episodes coming up. Make sure y'all get with us on Facebook. We've got a Facebook account, Almost Brothers Podcast on Facebook. Get with us. Any questions, any comments, we'll read them on the episode. We'll try to get with you. I'd love to have some of y'all on. And then I think what we're going to do in the next upcoming year in 2023, we're going to try to meet up at a few locations and record some episodes so y'all can come out and meet us. We can meet you and maybe even get some merch. Ooh, look out now.
What's up?
Love to have that. So we love y'all. We appreciate you. God bless. Have a Merry, Merry Christmas. Let's go.
Very good.